Peace, brothers and sisters. This is the Bible in plain view from ICOJ, Israel Church of Jesus. Today we have a lesson called Babylon. Who, what, when, where. Today our teacher is Brother Ira, and my name is Brother Marcus. I'm your reader. We're going to get right into it.
All right, thank you. Thank you, brother. Cool. This is how we do this here every third Sunday, brothers and sisters, here at Israel Church of Jesus in Philadelphia, where we try to give it to you real plain and simple. We're going to get right into it. The title, Brother Marcus already gave it to you, Babylon, who, what, when, and where. So we're going to get to it because, brothers and sisters, we're going to see that Babylon has a physical location located over in the Middle East, in the land of Mesopotamia, brothers and sisters, and it's modern-day Iraq, okay? So we're going to get right to it. Go to Genesis chapter 10, brothers and sisters. Genesis chapter 10?
Yeah, Genesis chapter 10.
And we're going to talk about Ham, one of Noah's three sons. And he had a son named Cush, and Cush is going to have a son named Nimrod.
That's right.
And he's going to end up building cities in the land of Shinar. So let's get to it. Read Genesis chapter 10, verse 6.
Verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan.
Mm-hmm. And let's skip down to verse 8.
And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mighty hunter before the Lord.
All right, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. We ain't going to get all off into him because we're not trying to really find out about Nimrod. But Nimrod did something, brothers and sisters. What did he do?
Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar.
It was in the land of Shinar, brothers and sisters. And now we're going to find out where Shinar is because this is an ancient name for this land, but modernly it's just simply, it's in Mesopotamia, and Mesopotamia is over in the geographical location. You can find out the Tigris River is there and the Euphrates River is there. And the land masses that's there is, or nations that's there is Syria, Nineveh, Asher, and Babel, which is going to become Babylon, which is modern day Iraq. So, but what we get into is people think that the U.S. is Babylon, and it's really not Babylon. Babylon, we're going to see, is a system, a whole worldwide system that is governing everybody here. And the Lord called it to be that way. And Babylon has a king, and we're going to get where, let's look to Revelation 17, because we're going to show you about the system. Go to Revelation 17. Let me get there.
Take your time, brother.
And this system is a terrible system right now that's going over. Started at 17:1, brother. Go ahead and pick it up.
And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me,
What did he say?
Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones,
Keep reading.
and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
And go ahead. What's written on her head?
And upon her forehead a name was written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
All right, so we see here in Revelation chapter 17, brothers and sisters, that there's a woman here sitting in arrayed in purple and scarlet, and the kings of this earth. Well, let's just read it. And there, verse 1 says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, and I will show you the judgment of the great whore which sitteth upon many waters. And we're going to find out these many waters are what? People, places, and tongues. That's going to be the whole world, brothers and sisters. All right? But the Lord said, I'm going to show you the judgment of her, because right now the judgment of Babylon is going to be stern from the Lord, because he's not happy with Babylon. So keep reading. He said, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And this drunkenness that they're drunk with, brothers and sisters, is bad doctrine, brothers and sisters. It's bad teaching that's going on, brothers and sisters, all the way around the world. People that's supposed to be keeping the commandments of the true and living God, they're doing their own thing. They're steeped in idolatry. You know, idolatry is rampant. And Babylon is the one that brought about this idolatry. And Babylon is over the whole world. It's a whole system, and you're going to see. So this woman here, at verse 4, was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and decked in gold and precious pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, and that cup is filled with abominations that we in Revelation. Now, what's that cup? What's in the cup that's abominable? You know, the doctrine of Christmas, the doctrine of Thanksgiving, the doctrine that Jesus died for, goes to heaven. I mean, I'm sorry, that people go to heaven. You know what I mean? Satan is in hell and he's the king of hell. You know, all these are bad doctrines, you know what I mean, that is not taught, that's in this cup, brothers and sisters. So now, upon her head was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. Because, why mystery, brothers and sisters? Because, what is a mystery? Something that's hidden. Unbeknownst to the whole world, they don't know that Babylon is in rulership today. This very Babylon that started all the way back in Nimrod's time. And the Lord, he tells the end from the beginning, brothers and sisters. So guess what? It's all been written down, and the Lord going to show you the judgment of this, because at the end, Babylon, the system is ruling right now, but the Lord, he's going to come back and he's going to rule over this whole entire earth, and he made it clear through prophecy. And we're going to read some of this prophecy. But let's go, where we leave off at, brother?
Verse 6.
Verse 6. All right, let's see what the mother of harlots did. And if she's a mother and the harlots, that means she has daughters, and the daughters are going to teach the same thing, brothers and sisters, that the mother's teaching. And it's all bad doctrine. And we see that the doctrine is, you know, the mother. Who's the mother church? The real mother is what? Israel.
Catholic Church. Oh no, the real mother is Israel.
But there's a church or organization out here that calls herself the Mother Church, and that's Catholicism. That's in Catholicism right there. And all of her daughters are all the different denominations, brothers and sisters, that's in the earth. So it doesn't matter what name it goes by. You know what I mean? It's all one place. Rome, all roads lead to Rome, brothers and sisters. So we're going to look at the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. What happened? What did this mother of harlots do?
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
All right, so listen, this woman, I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. There was a lot of killing going on from this organization. And the thing that we need to do, brothers and sisters, is really do history. We're not taught to read. We're not taught to study history. And you will see that this is a real bloody organization. Look at the Inquisitions. You know what I mean? The Inquisitions, they killing in the name of the Lord. And the Lord told you that people, it's going to come a time when they're going to kill you and think that they do Lord's service, right? Yeah, these people have been doing this. You got to do your due diligence, brothers and sisters. But we're going to show you who these peoples and places and things are. Go down to verse 15 and read.
Verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations.
All right, that's right. All right, so this organization is sitting over the peoples, nations, and tongues, and the multitudes. Go to verse 18.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
And that great city, brothers and sisters, is none other than Rome. And we're going to get to it. Go to Jeremiah chapter 27. Because the Lord, through the mouth of Jeremiah, is going to run this whole thing down. And he's going to bring Babylon, or the system of Babylon, over the entire earth. And he's going to pronounce it. We deal with a God, brothers and sisters, that declared the end from the beginning. That's why we can bank on him. We can bank on his word because it's true. And we can sit back and do it. We can sit back and read it. And then we just got to obey it. Jeremiah chapter 27. And when you get there, brother, go ahead and read.
In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Joash, or Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying,
What did the Lord say?
Thus saith the Lord to me, Make thee bonds and yokes,
Mm-hmm.
and put them upon thy neck.
Mm-hmm.
And send them to the king of Edom,
Mm-hmm.
and to the king of Moab,
Mhm.
and the king of the Ammonites,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the king of Tyrus, and to the king of Zidon, by the hand of the messengers which come to Jerusalem, unto Zechizedek, king of Judah.
Unto Zedekiah,
Zedekiah, my
the
bad.
king of Judah. Zedekiah was the last king of Israel before he went to Babylon, brothers and sisters. So he's telling Jeremiah here, put these yokes and bonds, make them, and then send them by messenger to all these kings. You can read further in Jeremiah 25, and it lets you know all the kings of the earth are going to come underneath and drink this cup of the wrath of God. They're going to come underneath the Babylonian system. But go ahead. What does yokes and bonds do, brothers and sisters? It brings you under bondage. So the whole world is going to be under bondage to Nebuchadnezzar. And the Lord's going to tell you, keep going.
And command them to say unto their masters, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Thus shall ye say unto your masters, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the ground, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and have given it unto whom it seemed meet unto me.
All right, because the Lord is in control of everything. He made this earth, brothers and sisters. He can give it to whoever he wants to. He sets up kings and he brings them down. God is in full control, brothers and sisters. So he's telling Jeremiah, listen, make these yokes, make these bonds, send it to all these people that I'm going to send it to, going to symbolize that, listen, he's giving this whole system to Nebuchadnezzar. And he's going to make it plain. Go ahead, brother.
And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon,
Go ahead.
my servant. And the beast of the field have I given him also to serve him.
That's right. The beast of the field. What else?
And all nations shall serve him.
Go ahead.
And his son, and his son's son,
Until
the very time of his land come. And then many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of him.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass that the nation and kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish, saith the Lord, with the sword, and with famine, and with the pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand.
All right, so the Lord letting you know, like, listen, Jeremiah, you tell these nations, tell everybody, listen, they're going to come underneath his servant, Nebuchadnezzar, and they're going to put their necks underneath the yoke of him, and he's going to rule a whole world system. The whole world is going to fall underneath Babylonian nation. And the nation that will not serve him, what's going to happen? It shall come to pass that the nation and the kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish. The Lord's going to punish them with the sword and with famine and with pestilence until they have consumed them. So, but, verse 11.
But the nation that bring their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him, those will I let remain still in their own land, saith the Lord.
All right. And we're going to go to Daniel chapter 2, because we said Nebuchadnezzar is going to rule. And we're going to find out that this ruling system is going to be here till Christ himself come back. And it's a mystery to everybody, because guess what? You don't know that Rome, that great city, is still in control to this very day. And it all started here. Their Gentiles is all started right here in Babylon. So Daniel chapter 2. And when you get there, brother, kick it off at verse 28. And what happened here in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. He forgets his dream. And the Lord is just showing Nebuchadnezzar, he forgot his dream. And he came and asked all of his wise men of Babylon, can they interpret the dream? Tell him what the dream is and interpret it. And they couldn't do it. So, you know, he had a decree that, listen, if they can't tell him what the dream is, he's going to kill all the wise men. You know what I mean? So that came to Daniel, and Daniel was like, why is it so hasty? You know, let me find out what the king's matter is. He went to the king and asked for time. He went and prayed, and the Lord revealed the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had to him. And then Daniel's going to come back and tell him what the dream is and interpret it. And we're going to find out that the Lord just gave Nebuchadnezzar the whole rundown of how the world is going to, starting from his time, how the world is going to come to an end, and how the Lord is going to establish his kingdom in the world after his succession, after he rules and be in succession. Where we at?
Verse 28.
Read it.
Daniel chapter 2.
Read it.
But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar, which shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and thy visions of thy head upon thy bed are these.
What are they?
As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, which should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee which shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom, that I have more than any living. But for their sakes, that shall make known the interpretation of the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. That great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
Go ahead.
This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part clay of iron, and his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors.
Go ahead.
And the wind carried them away, that no place was found of them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
So he revealed it. He revealed the whole dream to Nebuchadnezzar, and it was a image that he seen: a head of gold, breast and thigh. Breast and arms of silver, belly and thighs of brass, and the legs of iron and part of iron and clay. So we got to understand, in succession, these are going to be kingdoms that's going to come into play, and in succession all the way down until this stone cut out without hands came and hit this image at his feet and broke the whole thing down. He's going to give you the interpretation of it and make it real clear. That whole image is the Gentile kingdom, starting with Nebuchadnezzar and ending in Rome. And when Rome is here, at the end of Rome, the Lord is going to come and he's going to fill this whole temple, fill the whole world with his glory, and his mountain is going to be in the whole world. So now give the interpretation. Keep reading.
Thou, O king, art a great king of kings, and the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. And whosoever and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand.
We read that in Jeremiah 27. Didn't he say the Lord said he gave it to Nebuchadnezzar, the beasts of the field, and wherever men dwell at? Go ahead. And
have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Miry clay, go ahead.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Them feet and toes, brothers and sisters, is just European economic community. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 10 toes. 10 kingdoms are going to come, and they're going to rule over the earth. Because in Rome, brothers and sisters, was to rise and fall 10 times, brothers and sisters. 10 times. And it had to be put back together. So go ahead, brother.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Go ahead.
But they shall not cleave one to the other.
What about this? Let's find out about this stone that was cut out without hands. Go to 44.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed.
In the days of what king? In the days of these 10 toes.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
So the Lord, through the mouth of Daniel, let you know how this whole thing is going to run down, how it's going to play out, brothers and sisters. Go to Revelation chapter 13. and we're going to take a look at this system and the person that's going to come out of the system. Revelation chapter 13, and when you get there, pick it up at verse 1, brother.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns.
Go ahead.
And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
Okay, and the dragon gave him his power, seat, and great authority?
Right.
The dragon is none other than Satan the devil, brothers and sisters. He's going to be over this kingdom that has 7 heads and 10 horns, brothers and sisters, which is Babylon, which is the city of Rome that's going to be right here. The city of Rome that's leading, which is the last beast that's going to lead. What happened? Verse 3.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Go ahead.
And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies.
It said, who is like unto the beast, right? Who is able to make war with him? And what? And there was given unto him a mouth that speak great things and blasphemies. What? What else?
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
So this beast right here, one is an economic system, brothers and sisters, and then one is going to be a false prophet or a person that's going to be speaking blasphemy against the Lord. All right. So this is what's got to happen. This was going to come out of Babylon. All right. Let's look at this one that's speaking blasphemies to the Lord. Go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. The Lord going to give this man power to overcome the saints, brothers and sisters, during this time. All right, go to pick it up at verse 2.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters as from us.
Go ahead.
As that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Go ahead. What does this man do? The son of perdition do? This is the Antichrist, the son of perdition, the man of sin. All the same people. Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
All right, and the Lord tells you this in Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21, brothers and sisters, that this man of sin got to come, called the abomination of desolation. That's another name for him. You know, we're not here talking about the abomination of desolation. That's another lesson for another time. But he's coming out of Babylon, all right? And we know that the Lord can't come back and gather his church until this dude be revealed, all right? And they said the dragon was the one that gave power and authority to this beast, right? And that's none other than Satan the devil. So let's look at it. This man of sin, he's going to be revealed at verse 8. Go to verse 8. He's going to be revealed how?
And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
So his coming is after the workings of Satan, because Satan is going to, or the dragon is going to give him that power for 3.5 years to overcome the saints. Go to Daniel chapter 7, because Daniel had the same dream, brothers and sisters, of this beast. Daniel chapter 7, and pick it up at verse 4.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
All right, that's that same beast in Revelation chapter 13, brothers and sisters. That had the lion, the leopard, and the bear. Same beast. And Daniel just dreamed about it. You know, the same system. It's the Gentile system, brothers. Let's look at this dreadful and terrible one. This is the one where the Lord is going to come back at this during the Roman occupation, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces.
Yeah, because it's dreadful and terrible, and the Lord didn't have no beast in the earth to describe this. Because the Catholic Church does not only destroys you physically, they destroys you spiritually. They took the Lord off the table. And the one that's called Papa or the Pope, you know, that is going to be driven by Satan himself. You know what I mean? He's giving you everything that you think is holy. He gave you Sunday. He gave you Christmas. He gave you Valentine's. Everything. Saint Nicholas. All this stuff comes from Rome, and that's the cup. All that doctrine is the cup that she's holding in her hand. It's filled with all abominations. So keep reading, brother.
It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
Go ahead.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn,
That little horn, go ahead.
before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Go ahead.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man,
All right.
and a mouth speaking great things.
All right. So this little horn is none other than the false prophet brothers and sisters that come from Babylon, from Rome, called the Pope. And guess what? When he said, I considered the horn and beheld and there came up among them a little horn, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked up. These are none other, brothers and sisters, than the Vandals, Ostrogoths, and the Huralians. These are nations that didn't agree with the Pope, and they end up plucking them up, brothers. You got to do your homework, do your due diligence. You can look and see that these nations you don't even hear about no more. But this dude that was speaking great things, skip over to verse 24 and start reading.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Just talking about the Huralians, Ostrogoths, and the Vandals. Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
and shall wear out the saints of the Most High,
And do what?
and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time.
That's 3.5 years, brothers and sisters. This dude is going to have reign at the end during Jacob's trouble. The Lord's going to allow him to wear out the saints. That's why it's good to get this information, brothers and sisters. It's good to start obeying the Lord and worshiping him so you can escape from this time, because it's only going to be one escape route, and you got to get to the wilderness. Otherwise, you're going to go through a whole bunch of things, brothers and sisters. If you want to know about this, all you got to do is just check your past. You had the Inquisitions, you know what I mean, that this Catholic Church was killing all people that was worshiping the true and living God. And those that didn't want to
Keep Sunday.
Keep Sunday, exactly. Keep Sunday, or they didn't believe that the Pope was infallible. The Protestant religion came out of this. You know what I mean? So where are we at here? Let's go to this guy's going to think change times and laws.
We have 26.
That's the law. That's the law of God. But what verse?
But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end.
Go ahead.
And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints.
That's right, because when the Lord come back, he's going to bring the saints back with him. He's going to bring the saints back with him. You know what I mean? To destroy this guy. And when at the brightness of his coming. Go to Zechariah chapter 14, and we're going to show you this. That's why it's good, brothers and sisters, to get this information. I mean, Babylon is a location. It's all over the earth, brothers and sisters. And when the Lord comes back, brother, he's going to destroy that man of sin and take him out.